Hope you have found this video useful. The best way to support the channel and ensure you don't miss our next upload is to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Part 41.2 Surah Fussilat explained in detail the human messenger and the 4 stages of provision. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We continue our rigorous and transformative archaeological excavation of Surah Fussilat. In our inaugural session, we confronted the triple barrier of the human ego, those psychological enclosures, the spiritual deafness, the manufactured partitions that the disputers use as a fortress to shield themselves from divine clarity. Today we move into a section of the surah that is simultaneously deeply grounding and cosmically majestic. We transition from the defensive psychology of the denier to the humble, relatable reality of the messenger, and then, with breathtaking speed, we are launched into the geological and biological history of the earth itself. Welcome back to the Surah Fussilat Master Class with Hammad Syed. In this second session, covering verses 6 through 10, witness a profound and necessary shift in the divine discourse. Allah commands the Prophet, peace be upon him, to strip away any mythological veil of superhumanity and speak directly to the people as a human being like yourselves. We explore the woes reserved for those who refuse the Zakat of the soul. We find the promise of an eternal, unfailing reward for those who maintain the discipline of steadfastness. Then, the detailed book, verse 3, begins to demonstrate its title as it explains in detail the complex engineering of our planet in a 4-stage process that serves as an eternal sign for those who ask. This is the intersection where spirituality meets modern cosmology and geology. Verse 6. The humanity of the messenger, the removal of the partition. Kanzel Aman, Quran, Surah Fussilat explained in detail. Chapter 41, verse 6. Say, I am only a man like you, to whom it has been revealed that your God is but one God. So take a straight course to him and seek his forgiveness. And woe to those who associate others with him. Allah issues a direct command to the Prophet. Kol, inama, anabasharam, mithlakum. This is a revolutionary declaration of shared existence. Recall that in verse 5, the disputers claimed there was a partition, hijab, between them and the message. Allah smashes that excuse by emphasizing the Prophet's shared humanity bashar. He is not a celestial entity, a ghost, or a distant deity. He is a man who experiences hunger, walks the markets, and breathes the same air. However, the distinction that bridges the gap between the mundane and the divine is yuha ilayya, it is revealed to me. The message he carries is the ultimate simplification of reality. Ilahukum, ilahan, wahid, your Allah is one Allah. The instruction following this realization is twofold and vital for our journey. Fastakimu ilayya. Take a straight course to him, be steadfast, and wastakfiru, seek his forgiveness. This connects us back to the primary themes of the Hamim series, the necessity of forgiveness, ghafir, 3, and the stability of steadfastness. The verse ends with a sharp, chilling warning, Wa, waylun lil Mushrikin, and woe to those who associate others with him. In the light of such clarity, denial is not a mere intellectual error. It is a woe, because it is a violent rejection of the most fundamental fact of the universe. Verse 7. The Zakat of the Spirit, the tax on arrogance, Kanzel Aman, Quran, Surah Fussilat, explained in detail. Chapter 41, verse 7. Those who do not give zakah, and in the hereafter they are disbelievers. This verse provides a unique surgical definition of the Mushrikin, those who associate partners with Allah. They are identified specifically as Alladina layutuna zakah, those who do not give zakah. In our Sufi excavation, we must look much deeper than the financial tax. While it certainly includes the mandatory charity that balances society, the linguistic root of zakah is purification and growth. The Mushrikin are defined here as those who refuse to purify their wealth, their hearts, and their connection to the Creator. They withhold the provision ghafir, 64, that Allah bestowed upon them, acting as if they are the true owners. This stinginess is the physical symptom of a deeper cancer. Hum belakirati, hum kafirin, in the hereafter they are disbelievers. If you do not believe in the day of meeting ghafir, 15, or the owner of the throne, you will never sacrifice your temporary material provision for the eternal good. Their refusal to give is the ultimate proof of their aversion, verse 4, and their attachment to the passing enjoyment, Ghafir, 39. Verse 8, the unfailing reward. Ajrun Ghayru Mamnun, Kanal Surah Fussilat, explained in detail, chapter 41. Verse 8. Indeed, those who believe and do righteous deeds, for them is a reward uninterrupted. After the woe issued to the stingy and the deniers, Allah offers the good tidings Bashir promised in verse 4. For those who amanawa, amilu salahat, believe and do righteous deeds, the promise is Ajrun Ghayru Mamnun. The word mamnun is rich with meaning, signifying interrupted, cut off, diminished, or accompanied by a sense of obligation. In our Sufi excavation, this stands in magnificent contrast to the passing enjoyment of this world. Everything we experience in this life, our health, our youthful strength, our wealth, and even our very breaths, eventually interrupted by death or decay. But the reward for the detailed life of faith is an eternal, perpetual stream of grace. It is a reward that never ends, because its source is Al-Hay, the ever-living. This is the home of settlement Ghafir, 39, manifested as a continuous state of divine proximity and bliss that never fades or falters. Verse 9. The geological witness, the foundation of the home, Kanzel, Iman, Quran, Surah Fussilat, explained in detail, chapter 41. Verse 9. Say, do you indeed disbelieve in He who created the earth in 2 days, and attribute to Him equals? That is the Lord of the worlds. Now, the detailed book, verse 3, begins to lay out the signs in the horizons. Allah asks a staggering, confrontational question, Ayanokum latak faruna, biladi kalakalarda fio main. Do you indeed disbelieve in He who created the earth in 2 days? This is the commencement of our cosmic excavation. The 2 days are not 24-hour solar days, as the rotation of the earth and the position of the sun were themselves being established, but divine epochs or stages of foundational creation. Allah highlights the intellectual absurdity of Watajaluna, Lahu, and Adon, attributing equals to Him, when He is the sole architect who laid the very foundations of the ground you walk upon. The verse concludes by reaffirming the majestic title that serves as the anchor of this Master Class Dalaka, Rabul, Alaman, that is the Lord of the worlds. How can a tiny creature dispute Ghafir, 69, with the power that engineered the entire planet from nothingness? Verse 10. The 4 stages of sustenance, the engineering of life, Kanzel, Aman, Quran, Surah Fussilat, explained in detail, chapter 41, verse 10. And He placed on the earth firmly set mountains over its surface, and He blessed it and determined therein its creatures' sustenance in 4 days, equal for those who ask. This verse is a masterpiece of detailed biological and geological explanation. Allah details 3 structural layers of the earth's habitability. First, Wajala fiha, Rawasiya min fawqiha, He placed in it firm mountains from above it. This refers to the stabilization of the earth's crust and the cooling of the surface. Second, Wa baraka fiha, He blessed it, referring to the introduction of the biosphere, water, atmosphere, and fertility. Third, Wa kadara fiha, aquataha, He determined, measured, and proportioned therein its sustenance provisions. All of this was completed fi arba'ati ayamin, in 4 days. Stages. When added to the 2 days of verse 9, we arrive at the complete 6 days of creation mentioned throughout the Quran. But here, the detailed focus is exclusively on the earth's readiness for life. The phrase Sawan Lasowan equals sufficient for those who ask, the seekers, is profound. It means the earth was perfectly mathematically engineered to provide for every need in the breast Ghafir, 80 in every hunger of every creature. The provision is not random, it is perfectly measured Qadara. There is no defect or shortage in the earth's core design. It is a detailed planet for a detailed and purposeful life. Extending the philosophical excavation, the theology of provision, and the architecture of the earth, to reach the full master-level depth of this session, you must rigorously analyze the theology of the human messenger, the spirituality of Zakat, and the 4-stage engineering of the earth. We are observing how the Rahman, the most merciful, provides for the Bashar human. through both revelation and creation. In verse 6, Allah addresses the distancing ego. The disputers desperately wanted the prophet to be an angel or a supernatural being so they could justify their partition hijab. Allah wanted to say, he is not like us. So his message does not apply to us. But by commanding the prophet to say, I am a man like you, Allah destroys the excuse of the ego. The detailed guidance of the Quran is not a partition, it is a bridge. The straight course istiqamah is not a path designed for celestial beings. It is a path designed for bashar humans. In our Sufi excavation, we see that the humanity of the prophet is the greatest sign of Allah's mercy. It proves that the high ranks Ghafir, 15, are achievable for us, even within our biology Ghafir, 67. The call to seek his forgiveness is the constant engine of this journey. We are human, stumble, but the straight course is maintained through the humility of istighfar. Verse 7 and 8 provide a critique of the hoarding soul. Why is Zakat used as the defining diagnostic for the denier? Because Zakat, purification giving, is the exact opposite of arrogance Ghafir, 56. To give Zakat is to acknowledge that the provision you hold is a trust from the Lord of the worlds. The Mushrikin are those who associate their own egos with Allah's creative power. Claiming their wealth is a product of their own independent strength. By withholding Zakat, they are essentially denying the signs Ghafir, 81, of Allah's total ownership. Conversely, the uninterrupted reward, Ajrun Ghayru Mamnun, is reserved for those who realize that giving in the path of Allah is the only way to truly receive, while the disbeliever clings to what is passing Ghafir, 39. The believer invests in what is unending. The zakat of the soul is the active process of dismantling the enclosures. Verse 5. Verses 9 and 10 launch us into the theology of the earth. Allah is explaining in detail. Fussilat, the very engineering of our home. To disbelieve in the Creator while standing firmly on the earth he built is the ultimate form of cognitive dissonance. The 2 days of foundation and the 4 days of biological provision represent the perfect measure qadar of the universe. Notice the precision of the details. Rawasiya mountains were placed from above it to act as stabilizers. Modern science discusses the role of mountain roots in the stability of the lithosphere. Then Barakafia, he blessed it. This is the miracle of the water cycle, the protective atmosphere, and the complex DNA of the plant kingdom. Finally, Qadarafia Aquataha, he measured and proportioned its sustenance. This measuring is crucial. Allah did not just scatter resources, he measured them. The ratio of gases in the air, the nitrogen in the soil, the carbon cycle is all detailed for our survival. The phrase Sawan Lasiawin equals sufficient for those who ask carries to deep Sufi meanings. First, the earth's resources are inherently sufficient for all living things if they are distributed with the justice commanded by Allah. Second, the explanation of the earth's creation is a sufficient, perfect answer for any seeker Syed, who asks about the existence and power of God. The signs in the horizons are detailed enough to satisfy any sincere intellect Ghafir. 67. Reflect on the call for steadfastness istiqamah in verse 6. To be steadfast is to recognize that you are a human. On a measured Qadara planet, created by a merciful Ar-Rahman. Lord, your sustenance was already calculated and determined in the 4 stages of the earth's creation, long before you were born. Why then do you dispute Ghafir? 69. Why then do you turn away? Verse 4. The earth you walk upon is a detailed book in physical form. The woes wail mentioned in verse 6 are for those who enjoy the firm mountains and breathe the blessings of the planet yet refuse to purify Zakat, their connection to the Lord of the worlds. They are like guests who attend a measured banquet but deny the existence of the host. But for you, as a student of this master class, the earth is a sacred site of constant observation. When you look at a mountain range, you should see the Rawasiya of verse 10. When you consume your daily provision, you should see the Aquataha that was measured by divine decree eons ago. This knowledge, verse 3, must lead to the uninterrupted reward. You are not an accident on a random rock. You are a bashar human on a planet that was blessed and measured specifically for your need. Ghafir 80. The straight course istiqamah is living in total harmony with this detailed reality. It is recognizing the oneness wahid of the Creator and seeking forgiveness istighfar for the moments we fall back into the enclosures of the ego. The earth is stable and steadfast in its orbit. Let your heart be stable too. The earth is blessed. Let your work be blessed too. Surah Fussilat explains in detail that there is no partition, verse 5, between the Lord and the earth, the mountains, the nutrient cycles, the food, the seasons. These are all signs that have been clearly spelled out. The only partition that exists is the one you build in your own mind out of pride. Verse 9 and 10 are designed to tear down that wall by showing you the sheer, terrifying scale of the Tanzil revelation that matches the scale of the Kal creation. As we conclude this session, we carry with us the vision of a planet that was prepared in 4 days specifically for us. We carry the humility of a prophet who was only a man like you, and we carry the commitment to a reward that is uninterrupted and eternal. The detailed book has moved from the celestial Hamim, of the heavens, to the mountains and provisions of the earth. We thank Allah, the Lord of the worlds, for measuring our sustenance and blessing our home before we ever drew our first breath. We thank Him for the Bashir good news of the continuous reward for those who remain steadfast. And we ask Him to make us among the seekers, Syed, who find the clarity in His creation and the purification Zakat in our souls. The 4 stages are complete. The humanity of the path is affirmed. The reward is promised. In our next session, we will turn our gaze upward to the smoke of the early heavens and the 7 skies. But for today, I stand firmly upon the measured earth and take a straight course to Him. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. We have seen the signs in the very foundation of our existence. We have heard the warning for the stingy and the proud. We are ready to move toward the steadfastness that leads to the unfailing reward. The detailed journey through the cosmos and the soul continues. We must remember that the mountains Rawasiya are not just scenery, they are witnesses. The provision Akwat is not just calories, it is a communication from Ar-Rahman. When we eat and when we walk, we are interacting with the 4 days of divine engineering. This realization should shatter the partition between our work and our worship. Everything is connected. The Mushrikin are averse because they want to believe they created their own success. But the detailed book reminds us that the earth was blessed long before our work began. Our only real job is to seek forgiveness and stay straight. Everything else has already been measured for us. Let this knowledge be the Zakat purification of your mind. Clear away the enclosures of secularism that tell you the earth is a random accident. See it instead as a detailed gift, prepared in stages, equal for all who ask. This is the vision that leads to the home of settlement. Take a straight course to Him. This is the mantra of the believer. The earth follows its straight course around the sun without fail. We, as Bashar, are given the choice to follow our straight course to the Lord of the worlds. Choose wisely, for the reward is uninterrupted. Hadith. The Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, "The earth was made for me, a place of prostration, masjid, and a means of purification." Sahih Bukhari. This hadith perfectly aligns with verses 9 and 10 of Surah Fussilat Master. It shows that the earth, which Allah blessed and detailed in its creation, is fundamentally a spiritual site of worship. Outlets to firm mountains and measured sustenance are not merely material facts. They provide the sacred environment for the human Bashar to take a straight course. Istiqamah through humble prostration to the Lord of the worlds. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. O Allah, the Lord of the world's Rabbul, Alamin, and the architect of the heavens and earth, we thank you with profound gratitude for the detailed knowledge of our planet's creation and our own purpose. O Ar-Rahman, we thank you for the humanity Bashiriya of your messenger, which allows us to take a straight course istiqamah toward you without the partition of fear. O Al-Qadir, we thank you for measuring Qadara, our sustenance Akwat, in the 4 stages of the earth's blessing, providing for our every need before we even ask Syed. O Wafi, make us among those who purify Zakat, our hearts and our wealth, and save us from the woe wail of the averse who hoard your gifts. O Ul-Ghafar, we seek your forgiveness istighfar for our pride, our distractions, and our enclosures. Grant us the uninterrupted reward, Ajrun Ghayru Mamnun, and let us stand firmly upon your blessed earth as those who know Yalaman. Protect us from attributing equals to you while we breathe your air, walk your mountains, and eat your measured provision. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds.